Welcome back to my 1-2-70 walkthrough for my Night Elf Druid. This is going to be levels 50 through 55, and at this point there's nothing to it but to do it, so let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and check my mailbox to make sure. Yep, that is the Holy Shroud that I got from the last time. I only got 142 gold for it, but better than the vendor price of 5 gold. When you're starting out, sometimes you got a gold pinch just to get by. However, since dragon riding is in DragonFlight, you really don't need gold as bad. So I'm going to go ahead and sign up for dungeons. I was thinking about Wrath of the Lich King, but I'm starting to rethink it. But I think there's actually a lot of dungeons I didn't do yet. I know almost every dungeon in Wrath of the Lich King, so no matter what I get, I'll be fine. I think I know all the dungeons in Classic, Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King. I might do a couple of Wrath of the Lich King dungeons and then swap over to some Mists of Pandaria dungeons. Those dungeons tend to be pretty fast, but my gold is starting at 2,864. My item level is 129, and I am currently signed up for tank and DPS. As always, if you need to and you want a quest, you can always go to the quest board. There's one here and in the front of the Stormwind. You got Chromie over here somewhere beside the allied race area, which I could go over here to show real quick. I already have all these unlocked. Before, there was like a bunch of requirements and stuff you had to do to unlock these allied races. However, I think now you just have to, maybe it's get rep. Before it was like experience. Oh, it's achievement and level 45. Let's see, wait. You're now prepared. So yeah, you just have to run through the Argus campaign, hit level 45. Before you had to do rep stuff, so this is definitely a lot easier. Level 50. Yeah, it's just completing campaigns. It doesn't take that long. So if you do want allied races, you are new to the game, come to this, see what you need, and go. I think this all came from Battle for Azeroth. So yeah. Some of them look kind of neat. I personally like the Void Elves. They have kind of interesting abilities. My least favorite is kind of my least and favorite. I actually do like the mechanical gnome. If I'm going to play a gnome, definitely going to be a mechanical gnome. They're kind of interesting, especially their gear look. They have really good passives though. Probably some of the best. I actually have a gnome hunter. I leveled it purely for the aspect of the heritage armor, which is what you get for hitting. I think it's fit level 50, give or take. They might have changed it. See what dungeon I get.
No! Safe travel. See you soon.
That takes me to a zone really far away. I am making pretty decent gold, almost 100 gold a dungeon. I mean, I'm level 50, that's not too bad. Kind of tells you how much gold is inflated in this game, though, if you're making 100 gold a dungeon. This is either the stone one. Nope. Oh, yeah, hollow stone. This one's pretty easy, but you do have to be careful. It would help out a lot if I use bear form. As always, you don't have to pull as fast as I do. I've played Bear Tank and Mythic Pluses on max level before, so I'm kind of used to taking damage. I did forget to buff. Always make sure you buff. When you have casters, it's very important to make sure you use a line of sight. It helps a lot. That way I can get them all in one spot and just AoE them down. Little tricks like this will help out your tanking speed and make your life a lot easier. If you have a caster here, here, and here, you can't hit them all, so you're not getting the rage off of them or all kinds of stuff. I can't remember if we actually need this direction. Oh yeah, it's for a quest, so I think we do need it. This is an example of having them spread out. Kind of sucks, but I don't really have a very good LOS, which is line of sight spot. Having that little extra range does help, because I can hit all of them. And as you see, even without air limbs, I'm pulling pretty high damage. I will say, druid tanking's pretty fun. The reason I didn't worry about going to that boss like the mage in chat said, is because when you do this, it basically shoots you out right over there, so you just do a big circle. I did forget to mark what level I was at. I'm already at level 51, so this is going pretty well. Trying to see what I want to pick. I'm not a huge fan of most of these.
I need to get closer.
Yeah, this guy stones you. This is usually the person you want to try to use Time Warp on, just because they're killing it faster is nice. This was up. I'm gonna try to linger back a little bit so I can hit everybody with it. This ability is very powerful just because of how much healing it gives you.
You shouldn't have come. Now you will die.
Some people get mad when people leave Growl on. I'm just like, eh, let the pet do its best life. It'll die. At some point, after the pet dies so many times, the person usually figures out, hey, let's not have Growl on. The only time it becomes the issue is if you need to actually move the mob out of something, then that can actually be a huge pain.
I never wanted this.
I think I might have. No, I got the mage. No one saw me just about walking to that wall. It really helps to know what type of tank you're playing. For example, druids excel at AoE, so pulling multiple mobs at once is definitely a good idea. We also have a mage and hunter, both really good at AoE, so I know stuff probably isn't gonna die or like stay alive too long. If we had something like two rogues, then I might pull a little bit slower. Rogues tend not to be the best when it comes to AoE, just depends on their spec.
The answers are here. I can feel it.
Make sure everybody got it.
Time to get
And we're
some
good.
answers. Let's get this.
This part does suck because it takes forever to escort this guy up here. You pretty much sit here for 2 to 3, 5 minutes. It's a long time. Feel free when we get to that part just to skip over it. As a tank, you do have to be careful here. That will empower, and you do not want to get 2 of those empowered. It can one-shot. Even a tank. And it empowered it right as I pulled it. It does like 200% increased physical damage and increased attack speed.
finish this with me. Soon all will be revealed.
Hmm.
Okay then.
Not really sure
Let's
what I
do
want to take
this.
here. Let's go with that. I was thinking about against it because I already have a lot of spells. I'll take the res off my action bar and put rebirth down there.
Archival processing terminated. Continued interference will result in targeted.
Perfect time to backslash dance.
Sound good. We might have a complication or two.
Security breach in progress.
I will say it is really hard for me not to have my gear transmog. Usually have it transmog the entire way, even if I don't have heirlooms on, which I usually do for most of the levels.
Ah, you want to play hardball, eh? That's just my game.
You see how this takes forever. It'd be nice if I could just select send everything. Send everything in the kitchen sink. Let's just kill it all at once. Because these guys do not hit hard at all, and they just kind of fall over and die. Oh, there we go. Panda Druid. I'm super surprised pandas can't be druids.
Couple more minutes and I'll...
At least I don't think they can. To me, that would have made a lot of sense to make pandas druids.
Security level heightened.
Hi. What's the good news?
I actually really like panda animations for attack and stuff. It's kind of interesting. There's some classes or races in WoW I can't stand the attack animations for or cast, which I usually don't notice until like playing them for a really long time. I'm not a huge fan of the dwarf animations. It sounds very dumb, but if you sit there and play a tune long enough, you're like, man, I really just don't like the way they attack. You gotta think you're sitting here looking at this tune for hours on end. This dungeon is probably the only reason I like to avoid Wrath dungeons sometimes, because this thing really sucks. Most people would probably think I'm joking when I say it takes 5 minutes. No, it actually takes 5 minutes. And it's super easy, so it's not even like you need
So
the
that
5
was the
minutes.
problem. Now I'm making progress.
Back when it was current haunted, I can understand it. At this point, man, it's just useless.
Hang on. Nobody's gonna be sanitized as long as I have a say.
It helps if you pay attention. I don't always pay attention.
I need to target something first.
Another huge perk, which I can't remember if I said in previous videos for heirlooms, you can enchant heirlooms. Which enchants are pretty nice because they're very weird. You need to do research on it because some enchants scale a lot stronger than others. Some scale horribly. And there's times where some are a lot better than others. At one point, Warlords of Draenor and Mist of Pandaria, maybe it is, both had ring enchants, or I might be getting those wrong, but there was 2 expansions that had ring enchants. And the one that was newer Ring of Chance scaled like absolute crap and were completely useless, and the other one scaled tremendously until like obviously hitting the point past that actual instance. But most of the time when you want the scaling the strongest is lower levels, because that's when you need it the most. Usually by this point most people's gear's been caught up. I mean, everyone's doing pretty decent numbers. On this boss you gotta go back here and loot this. You also have to talk to Bram? Yeah. Because if you don't, then you have to walk all the way back. Because he has to open the door to the last boss.
The answers are here. Where? I can feel. What do you think I'm here for? Tea and biscuits? Spill the beans already.
And then you just teleport out. You can run. It's a pretty far run. So I like to teleport out in it. Another nice thing about not being in combat is being able to just go straight back in. I'm going to try my quest. They definitely got to do some fixes for questing. Like, questing is not even, doesn't hold a candle to the speed of dungeons anymore. This person left super early and I still got back here just by TPing out and in. I should be fine to pull these, maybe. I believed that my healer would show up. Plus I got this and this, so if I really needed to, I'd use all these, pop this, make it 50%. That'd be every 10 seconds I can heal for about 1/3 of my health. Pretty strong. This goes well for this dungeon. I think I actually got this in Legion. Again, I don't really know most of these toys. I'm fairly certain I got this from Legion, but I don't know what from doing what. I think it came from like a dungeon. It's called Faintly Glowing Flagon of Mead. So if you want it, look it up.
Keep that middle monstrosity busy and I'll see if I can't sweep off this machine into hell. Brief, fragile life. You cannot escape the curse of flesh. This is a wee bit trickier than before.
Odd use of a Spirit Link Totem. However, Spirit Link Totems are pretty handy as a healer. I think they're actually one of the strongest in the game, especially if your tank's low on health, because it, I think I said this in one of the other videos, because there's a classic dungeon that uses it too. It basically equalizes everybody's health, so if your tank's at 10% and everybody else is at 100%, drop it and it makes your tank up to like 70 or 80%. Usually it also, I think, offers damage reduction. And I leveled. And got boots. Now what this shows is I'm being scaled up because of the dungeons I'm in. The item level of the thing is 135 and I'm being scaled up to 155. I think that's what that means. Let me double check. No, actually I was wrong. The item level is actually 163. I'm being scaled down to 135. It's really nice when you're getting scaled down because it makes it to where you have the best gear possible. It doesn't help me here, but it might help me in the next dungeon. See, like this isn't being scaled down, so this isn't as good as it could possibly be. Same with those. Oh, that's pretty nice. Make that a 1 minute cooldown. Yeah, this is the one thing I do wish that they would fix. Once you queue up and select it, if someone leaves, it shouldn't stop it. Because there's a lot of people who will just sit in the instance, wait, and then leave, and I actually have had it mess it up before and make it to where you can't. See, once everybody hits it and it's queued up, it's fine, but yeah. So that one dungeon, I can't see my level until I TP out, got me all the way to 52 and a bar and a half away from leveling. So about almost 53. As you could say, a lot of experience. Some of it was because I had rested experience because I haven't played all week because I was busy with other stuff. Which is nice that I now have rested experience, which helps me with speed. Usually I don't really wait for rested experience. It goes way too fast to be worth. I mean, if you have like 20 tunes, obviously you want to get a tune to a decent level. And then if you just want to let them sit and use play them as they get rest experience, that's fine. Some people do that, especially with DragonFlight. If you get them into DragonFlight, it makes you leveling faster. And we got this dungeon again. Already done all the quests, so this dungeon is not going to be even close to as good an experience. But it doesn't slow me down either. Oh, those are in the perfect spot. One thing you do have to watch, and what I'm doing right now is I'm running ahead. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not 100% sure how they died. Oh, silenced. Partially my bad on that one. I completely forgot those silenced. Usually as a caster, especially in this dungeon, it's good not to stay with the group. You kind of want to stay off to the side a little bit. Because these do have AoE and they have... A lot of these have silences, as the priest just found out. This is a pretty handy thing to get you through these instances a lot faster. A lot of people sleep on just how nice having a speed boost is. I do want to be careful here because these do silence also. As a tank, silences don't really matter. If your healer get hit by it, that can be trouble. I forgot to buff again. I'm really bad about that. This is a Demon Hunter. They can also tank. I'm not a huge fan of Demon Hunter tanks, just because their healing just isn't there. They might have fixed it, but they used to be really dependent on healers like warriors are. Like a paladin and a druid, I can keep myself up if my healer dies decently. Now once I run out of these and cooldowns, no, but if I'm pulling trash, then I should be fine. If it's actual like a raid boss or something, then there's not much you can do about that. Let me know down in the comments section if you want me to level up on my next, once I finish with the 1 through 70 videos, if you want me to level up another tune, race class, or if you want to see me maybe do another game. Elder Scrolls Online, Black Desert Online, and then review that compared to my World of Warcraft leveling experience. But that'll be after I do my 1 to 70 journey on this tune. Those videos will be a little different because I don't know those games as well. I mean, I've played this game for forever. I've played games like Terra, Black Desert, a bunch of those. Some people do have the quest and they'll run over there and use their item. However, I really don't need a healer for this next pool, so I can go ahead and just run down here and pull and kill everything. Even though I lose the rage, it's honestly still worth it. Yeah, so everybody's on the quest, so I'm gonna have to kill all of these. I really like that they added into the game you can see who's on quest. It helps out a lot because like if no one was on the quest, I can skip those. Skip almost at least 2 trees, which it's not a great speed increase, but it does increase your speed a little bit. Like I said in the past, everyone wants to say, oh well, experience is experience, and I'm like, well, I could get experience for killing those 2 trees, or I can use that time to progress through the dungeon, get closer to my next dungeon. And if you do it enough times, that could be worth a full level or 2 of experience, saved you in time. It's like saying if someone offers you $5 for 5 minutes or $1 for 5 minutes. Well, they offered you money, but do you want more money, or do you just want? Would you be happy with $1? I usually wouldn't recommend pulling this, but I know that they don't do much damage, and I should be fine. Plus, I have a silence, so I can silence her from doing that. Be pretty cool if that could be a playable race too. Yep. You gotta be careful when jumping down because you can pull extra stuff. That's a elemental. That's a shaman spell. It basically taunts. So, I mean, there's nothing. You can't turn taunt off or anything for it. It's pretty nice. Like if your tank gets low, you can use that as a way to pull off the tank and then heal them up. Same premise as with the Trents with balance, but they don't. I don't think they have to spec into it. But they might change that. Shamans also have a stun totem. I think I've talked about. It can be very useful for pulling big groups, because I think there's also a talent that makes it to where the more people you hit with it, the shorter the cooldown, unless they took that out of the game too. I haven't played a shaman in a while. But if you use that constantly, I mean, that helps your tank out a lot. Or if those guys start healing, throw it down. All kinds of stuff. And I am level 54. I am 2 bars in. Trying to decide if I want to. I put that there. Bear form, I get versatility, 6% versatility. That's pretty good. I don't even really use Moonfire, so I don't really want that. I actually really like that spell. I'm gonna put a point there. Oh, it just makes it a more powerful berserk. That's kind of cool. Let's hope I get a short one so I don't hit 56. That would be really bad. Oh, I pulled something. Possibly might die here because these do hit pretty hard. I think I'm actually going to duck out. It should drop aggro, so that guy should be fine. And now I can queue for like a Mr. Pandaria. Oh, that just dropped me out of the sky. I didn't know it could do that, but that would definitely be bad in certain situations. I'll go swap over to Mr. Pandaria. Those dungeons are a little bit faster. I will get a quest though, but if I hit 55, I won't turn it in. I'll just keep it. Those dungeons are probably the most aesthetically pleasing dungeons they've came out with in a while, in my opinion. I like Cataclysm dungeons too. I thought they were kind of neat. At least the ones near the end. The ones that are in the middle kind of sucked, but the ones at the end were like the end of time, all those. I'm currently at 3,299 gold, which, if you can remember, I should be able to buy flying at 4,000. Got my first trinket. No, that's a lie. My first decent trinket, though. I mean, my other one's kind of below. Yeah, 3,299. Let's go ahead and swap this over to Miss Pandaria.
Whatever you do,
Accept the
do not
quest.
between a Pandaren and their brew. It'll be unbearably painful if you do.
get the bad bear puns, and go back over to the Flight Master. Actually, I don't even need to go there. I just gotta look at my rep. Let's see. Stormwind rep exalted. So yeah, I should be able to buy flying for 4K. I'm only level 54, so at least by 70, I could actually come back and run through this and fly around max speed. I might save my gold if I was a new player though, because I don't know if there's really a point. Let me find a vendor. It's always good to sell out in between dungeons. This is really good if your character ever happens to get drunk. Like there's one dungeon in Classic WoW that they throw alcohol at you and your screen gets all fuzzy. If you don't like that, keep these in your bag because the coffee won't de-alcohols you. I don't know how to say it. De-drunks you, I guess. Which is kind of ironic because
Alrighty then.
if you do that in person, it does the opposite. Go ahead and sell this because it's so dated that it doesn't matter anymore.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm down to 4,000. So I saved myself 1,000 gold just by putting it on a tap.
Feet on the ground.
Free bunny. Let me take a look at this. I like this spell, but I'm really not a fan of those. And the Pandarian dungeon I thought I would get. I actually really like this one. It's really short.
Goodbye.
Farewell.
You do have to be careful on this first boss that's here. That boss, you got to go in bear form. That's very important. But this first boss, if you pull it, it can cut everybody on your group from getting to the boss. So you want to make sure everyone gets in. These little oozes drop things on the ground, little pools, so you do have to pull them out. Or they used to. Doesn't look like they do anymore. Nope, nope, they do. You can afford to use your speed boost here, mostly because that's really annoying. I usually have my sound turned off, so I've never actually heard those before. Get everybody in here.
You dare to
Actually hit the steps.
water. You will let death wash over you.
Whenever these die, they let little oozes down. Stuff on the ground, stuff like that. This boss is pretty easy. Once you get 4 of these killed, whoops. Once you get 4 of these killed, you just have to walk in a circle as he basically tries to shoot you with water. As a range caster, it's kind of a pain. As a melee, it's super easy to dodge.
Spring for life. Spring for life.
If you're someone who likes to watch movies, TV, listen to music, you really don't need in-game volume on to level. Honestly, I'm not even sure if you need in-game volume for any part of WoW,
The water's fast.
because I don't think any of it actually has to do with that.
Let death wash over.
That's the little shooting with water. You just have to dodge it. It's pretty easy. It helps if people stand on these and not in the blue. It does look like they did increase the damage of this stuff because this stuff is hitting a little bit harder. It used to be you could stand in it and it didn't matter. Go ahead and buff because I forgot to do it again. You gotta wait to get your gear. I'm glad I waited because that's actually a really nice back. You get a little speed boost, it runs out. There is a trick coming up here I'm going to attempt to do. I might die. Probably gonna die. Just wait for everybody to get up here and I'll try to pull it off. I don't know. Let's see. And it worked. I hope the healer hurries and gets over here. I didn't realize.
You there, in the rafters! My sacred library has become possessed by the Shah!
And the healer wasn't here. I messed up. I do have enough cooldowns that I should be fine. Hopefully. This is the one issue. If your healer doesn't know that they need a D-spell, then you'll sit here. But it saves a lot of time. I recommend making sure your healer's here before pulling that type, like that size of stuff. But yeah, see, cleared everything. That's usually about 4 pulls you pulled in no time.
Corrupting them, defiling them.
Just stand there, toss a range spell as you jump, and it should work. Not all classes have something, so yeah.
You must destroy the source of the corruption. Quickly,
This right here has multiple bosses it can give you. 1 stars, and then the other one is 2 guys who stand side by side. We got that one. You have to kill one at a time, and then swap once this one enrages, and you swap back and forth. If you kill both at the same time, you have both go immune, then you have to sit and wait.
let me shed some light. As the tale goes, the young Gaul was traveling
And you
across
jump.
the Kunlai plains when suddenly he was ambushed by 2 strong. For the ancients!
You can cleave that, I believe, and it's fine.
The young Gaul attacked the beast with great determination and ferocity. Yet, the more he attacked, the more fearsome the beasts grew. However,
What you can do,
let it alone.
if you stop attacking, I believe that stops going up. I need to look at what that is. Oh. Nope, that sucks. I completely forgot that I took this ability. Oh yeah, so if I use Mangle, I get increased healing. It would have been nice to have known up there. I really could have used it. It's like 20%, which is pretty nice. For this, I don't advise using speed boost.
Before you see
I think they've changed this dungeon a little bit because there it used to be mobs up here.
Strife will find somewhere else to roam. You have my thanks, heroes. You have given peace to this sacred.
Yeah, they've definitely changed this. There
office.
used to be mobs
I
here.
require meditation before I begin the restoration ritual.
One of the fastest ways to increase your leveling, have a good tank. You need one good high DPS, a good tank, and a decent healer, and you will level drastically faster.
Your forces are weak. The heart of the great serpent will not fall into your hands.
I wish this could stack a little bit.
Jade serpent, grant me strength.
Whenever this serpent, which is a dragon, looks like one of the dragon mounts, comes up, you got to make sure to give it a second if you have a overtime as a DPS, because it can't be overtimed when the mob first spawns. I'm not 100% sure what that spell is. It didn't have that when I played Mist of Pandaria.
Jade serpent must be reborn.
Nope, there you go.
Be free of doubt, priestess. The haze has been lifted.
I'm not getting nearly as much experience as I thought I would. This dungeon is short though. I mean, I'm already at the last boss. I didn't check how much experience and stuff I was gonna get. Oh, I forgot to. I can loot that on the way back because I gotta walk through there anyway to turn the quest in. They reduced that. That used to be 2 paths there. Now it's just 1. This is a really nice one. Usually people save Bloodlust, Fatigue, whatever it is, Hero, whatever faction you play. This is basically a damage boost of like 30% haste for the last boss. Sometimes it's better to actually use it if the tank happens to be low on health. If you think the tank might die. That way you can save them, because a tank dying and everybody dying can definitely cost you a lot more time than you would save with this. Again, little tricks like that help out a lot. Or like on that big pull I did earlier, not the worst time to use it, because for this it just means this dies faster. The chances of wiping this is very low. It does almost no damage. You do get less gold. But like I said, the dungeon is faster, so it kind of plays out a little bit. I think. Not fully sure on that one. Let's see what we got here.
What do you need? Enough of that.
So I am tanking. These boosts will be the best.
Tell me of your travels. I hope to see you again soon.
I actually played that perfectly by swapping expansions. That will increase your damage a lot because it makes them do. Yeah. I kind of like this. I might mess with my talents a little bit to get this, because I really don't need this, and this can heal me and stuff, so I'll swap that around. Sometimes it's worth it for cool abilities like that. I'm gonna go sell out real quick again, because I just did. Took me about 55 minutes, got 5 levels. Not too bad. You would think as I got higher it would take longer, but I think it would only take longer if I was questing. However, my gear is keeping up pretty well now, because even my upgrades aren't that big of upgrades. Sometimes I get like, the back was a huge upgrade.
Safe travels.
But that is the end of this part of level 50 to 55. I hope you enjoyed. And until next time. Oh, before I forget, gold 3,620, item level 150. That's perfection. Now, until next time.